Okay, another live stream, and I'll wait for people to come in and to see if I have something in the chat. Let's hope today the chat will work. Still not working the chat. I don't know why. Okay, here is the chat. Yay! I've got the chat. I had help from my boy. Hi Lorena, hi Brenda. Hi Catherine. Hi Chantal. Okay. I'm going to put some gloves today because I'm going to make a mess, and I've already rubbed my hands like 5 times today. I had Smurf hands from all the inks I've used, sprays, whatever. So now I'm not being lazy and putting some gloves, so I won't have to do that again. Hi Anne. Okay. We are going to do some mess today and have fun with some homemade sprays, and I'm going to talk about how to make your own sprays, several ways to go about it, and or if you have bought ones, all of course that's also good, and all the papers you can use, and I have some tips and tricks or hacks, whatever you want to call them. So I'm just going to wait for more people to come in, and then I will start with all the explaining. I hope I haven't forgotten anything and that I have everything in place. These are just some of the things I've done, from very plain, and I will, of course, again, I will explain about it, to a little bit more elaborate, all kinds of papers, all kinds of patterns, and just having fun. This is in my art journal, not finished yet, just the start. I thought I would finish this page with you. After, I'll show you how to go about this technique. So I'm going to put this aside, or no, you know what, while I'm waiting for people to come in, this is a sketch paper. This journal is made from sketch paper, and sketch paper is Well, there are all kinds. This one is not too thin, but it absorbs paint quite immediately. And I wanted to do something with sprays on top of it. And what happens, because it absorbs the paint so quickly, when it dries, it's a little bit faded. So I thought, what can I do to the page so it will take the sprays and be vibrant? Now, I don't like to put gesso in this case because then it becomes um, like I have a non-porous surface, so then the sprays don't catch at all, almost at all. And then I just have puddles of paint. So I tried something and it worked just so nicely that I want to show you how I've gone about it. I've taken my white glue, the diluted one that I use usually for paper napkins, and I went and just covered the page. I didn't even go about it very precisely. I just covered the page very quickly, just made sure that most of it was covered with the glue, let it dry, and then I worked on it, and I'm really happy with the result. So I'm putting down glue here. I will let it dry while I will do all the other stuff. So when I'm finished, this will be dry and I can show you how it looks on this kind of surface. Basically, I haven't tried it yet on other papers that absorb paint or watery paint. I only tried this technique on sketch paper, so I can't tell you in 100% that it will work on other papers, but I don't think it's really needed. But of course you can experiment. So I will just remove this aside, and this will be for later to work on. Okay, let's see who came in. Hi, Juanita. I hope I'm pronouncing it okay. Hi, Nancy, Catherine, Crystal. Hi to everyone. And my desk is moving, the contraption that is holding my camera. So I'm going to move it a little bit so it won't affect each other. I'm just checking that you can still see what I'm doing here. Yep. Okay. So let's see. For people who just came in, I'm just flipping this examples of what we are going to do today, from very simple to a little bit more elaborate. So here are the examples, and I'm going to remove them so we'll have enough room to play. So I don't know if you can see, but this is an old towel. You can there is already paint here from the sprays. I folded it. It's a big towel. I folded it in half, so I have enough to absorb all I'm going to spray here. Now we can work with all kinds of papers. For this technique we need thin paper, and nothing fancy, nothing expensive. It can be from just plain white printer paper. It can be colored printer paper. You can use pages from a notebook, and I will explain what I do with something like this when we have lines. How do I use it? and it can be tissue paper. I don't okay, when I'll go for doing the stuff, you will see how it looks on tissue paper. I have here a page from coloring book that I don't like the design, so I'm going to also experiment on this. I've got newspaper, more sketch paper from my journal, so I can play printer paper that I already done something with. I think this was from with the bingo daubers, and it's kind of plain and I want to do something else on top of it, and of course book pages. So all kinds of stuff that we can use. You can also use deli paper, and when I'm talking about deli paper, it's different in each country. When I first heard of deli paper, I went looking here, and here deli paper is just, you can't use it. It's waxed from both sides. It's not something that I can work with on anything, not on a jelly plate and not on this, but I found that here deli paper is a sandwich paper. So, and it has one side that is a little bit glossy and the other side a little bit more matte. So that's what is here, deli paper. Another thing that you can play with and is very similar in how it works is, wait, I will show you. So this is the deli paper, which is sandwich paper, and we have at the cheap store placemats, disposable placemats. There are white ones and there are some with design, and I use this mostly for gel prints, and it works the same as the deli paper or sandwich paper. So that's another option. I sometimes like to work on this, sometimes with the design, sometimes on the other side without the design. It's really up to you, but that's another option to go with. So that's all the possibilities for the paper we are going to play with today. Let's see. Okay. Paper. Let's see what's going on. Hi, Barbara. Thank you. Okay, so what we are going to use today is sprays, and there are all kinds of options. If you don't have sprays, that's okay. I will go on all the options that can be used. Of course, if you have bought ones, great. I make most of my homemade sprays are from gel food coloring. I am lucky to have a store near me that sells all the things for bakeries and conditor. So that's how they look, and they are very pigment concentrated, and they are not watery as the coloring, the food coloring that you can buy in the supermarket. The food coloring from the supermarket cannot be used. It's not enough. There isn't enough pigment in it to create something useful. So that's option number one. It works for me. I've used this for several years, and you only need a few drops in a spray bottle, and I don't have measurements. I just put 2-3 drops of the gel, add water, and then test it on a paper. If it's vibrant enough, good. If not, I will just add a few more drops. So that's option number one. Moving this, option number two. If you've got Brushos, these are the Brushos, which I didn't have until recently, and someone was kind enough to send them to me. Again, no measurements, you just take a little bit of the powder and add water, and you've got yourself a spray to use. And again, just test it and see if it's vibrant enough. If not, add more. There is another option. These are, again, these are more of a pigmented powder. This is for textile dye. And I found that I can use it before I had brushes. That's what I have used. And you can also put a little bit of the powder into a spray bottle with water. Sometimes there are you need warm water to activate it at first, so it will dissolve. Depends on the quality of the powder. So just so you will know. So that's another way to go about it. Now, whatever I'm doing today, another thing that you can use is the distress inks by Tim Holtz. That's another way to go about it. I will do a demonstration, one with the distress inks, like I'm talking about this distress inks. Let's take out some, just let's take these colors so they will be here, and I won't forget to show you an example with this. So sprays, we have the sprays, and of course all kinds of stuff that you can use when you have these painty papers. And let's see what's going on in the chat, and I will take a sip of my Earl Grey. Okay, I hope the chat is not stuck, because the last comment I see from Barbara. Okay, so usually I use this technique. I call it reverse stenciling. I'm probably someone else is calling it something else. And usually I would go about it. That's the very simplest way. And of course you can use any stencils that you want. It really doesn't matter. Something like that will be for more like a background and texture, and something like this will be more of a for also already with a focal point, whatever. So all kinds of stuff I'm going to show you quickly. Let's start with this. So one way to go about it, I'm taking two pages. This is 2-in-1, if you can call it that. And let's pick some colors. Never mind, just something so you will see what I'm talking about. And I'm covering the whole stencil. I'm using the sprays and covering all the stencil. Not only the parts that are open. And now I will just place the printer paper here and take another towel and I'm just letting it sit because I want the papers to absorb everything. Hi, Catherine. Yeah, I can see the chat is working. Okay. And I can lift it and also go and watch how it absorbs all the spray. And now I've got 2 painty papers in the price of 1 to play with. That's the simplest way to go about it. And again, I can also add on top of it. It doesn't have to stay like this. I can add more color if I want to. All kinds of stuff can be done. Okay. So as you can see, I'm just playing. This is not planned. Just want to show you all kinds of stuff that can be done. That's the simplest way to go about it. Moving this aside, it needs to dry. Okay. Now that was on white printer paper. I want to show you just one example on colored printer paper. Let's take one like this and one like this, and we'll see what will happen. It's better to take to work on the lighter colors and not on the darker colors, but it can also be on darker colors. If I will use black or a dark brown, of course it will take on top, or dark purple, but for now I'm just going to use this too. Okay, let's see. Let's take another stencil just so we will have something interesting to to see. Okay, putting it down again. Let's take some black. It's not really black. This was, I made this spray from textile dye, and it has some kind of a little bit green in it, but I'm fine with it. I like it, so all good. Okay, dark. I want something dark. Purple. I'm letting it mix because then you get more interesting results in between the colors. It's very quick. I don't care. Putting it down. We are still only in the simple painty papers, but it's a simple technique. Even the other ones, it's still a simple technique, and it's fun. Basically, it's another form of monoprinting, just not with a gel plate. I'm thinking to make the next live about monoprinting, and it doesn't have to be a gel plate if you don't have it, and I will tell you all the options that you have instead of gel plate, so you can do it with me. Okay, so it's almost almost stuck to the stencil. Okay, here we go. This is one. I'm just getting up and putting it aside. Okay, so that didn't turn out nice. I don't care. I've got another painty paper. I can just spray on top of it something and just eliminate what I have right now. And I will just have something else interesting to work with. Don't care. More painty paper. Maybe red. Don't care. I like it. Okay. I just need to lift it very carefully so I won't drop everything and drip all over. Okay. Now, if you want to clean the stencil, no matter what you use, just spray it with water. You can also take another paper and just lift whatever is left, or just take one of the towels and clean it like this. Here we go. Clean stencil. Finished. Okay. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Hi, Jasmine. Hi, Joanne. Nancy. Okay. So let's do one on this kind of paper that I told you I will do. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, I'm just using what I have here. It really doesn't matter right now. And well, let's do 2 pages. It is 2 in 1, as I said. Buy one, get one. And let's see what color. I'm going with brown. I don't know why. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking of adding just a little bit of turquoise, because I like turquoise with brown. I like turquoise with everything, but okay. Usually we are going for papers that are thick, but for this technique, the simplest and thinnest paper is better. Of course, this too needs to dry, but what I'm doing with this kind of stuff, now this pattern is a little bit more busy, but when it's dry, what I will do, I will tear some the edges, so I will have torn edges, and I will place it in journals that I leave a place to write. So then I have the lines, but I still have something designed and not just putting down something plain like this. And of course, it doesn't have to be on all over the page. I can decide that I want something simple, like I can take something like this, decide that I want just part of it, and let's see. Here we go. It doesn't have to be all over the page. Okay, and of course now I didn't bother about the edges, but you get my drift what I'm trying to do. I would have masked this and then I will get only this part on the page. So that's just so you will see what I was talking about. Okay, so that's the line, the pages from a notebook. Moving on. Okay, printer paper we've done. Let's try on to do something interesting on newspaper. Ugly newspaper. What do I want to do on this? What colors? What to do? Never mind, let's do something just so you will see what I'm talking about. And okay, I'm going to put it here. And let's see, some orange, some olive green. Don't know why, just having fun. It's better if it's the paper is flat. Right now I don't bother. I'm just putting it down so you can see all kinds of options to go about it. Just pressing it so it will absorb the spray. Maybe it would be ugly on newspaper. I don't know. That's the first time I'm doing it on newspaper. Okay, it's not ugly. I like this one. Great painty paper. Okay, so we've done newspaper. Next, tissue paper. Okay, so tissue paper I hardly use for this technique because it's very thin. Sometimes from lots of spray, it's almost this breaks apart. So I'm usually not using tissue paper, but it can be done. So it's really up to you. Trying to do it on tissue paper is great when you want something that you know that you want to use later, like with the backing of paper napkins that you take apart and glue it to a page, and most of the white that is left is disappearing into the background. So that's the only reason why I will use something like that. And where did I put all the other examples I showed you? Never mind. Oh, here it is. Okay, so this is on tissue paper and it's interesting. It's with this stencil, and it can be a great collage paper. So, but just be very careful with the amount of spray that you put because it is thin. Okay, so let's see. We'll do this one. I think I've put too much spray. Don't know how much of it will take, and that I didn't do one big puddle of, you can hardly see it here. So tissue paper is not very great, but can be done. Moving this aside, let's clean this a little bit. Clean. Okay. Coloring page. Let's see. Once again, maybe I'll put this on top. So I'm gonna take, let's take this one. This one, I told you, this is just printer paper that I've used some bingo daubers, and it's not great. So I'm going to put this here, and on top I will flip over the coloring page, the boring coloring page. I'm trying not to overthink it. I'm just playing with the colors, and some of them, don't know how much of it you can see. There is a lot going on here. I think I'm, from trying to be quick, I don't know why I'm rushing. I'm putting just too much spray. I think I need to do it less spray. Let's see if something will come out of it. Just pushing it down. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Maybe I should have used darker colors, but it's interesting enough for me to use as collage paper, and I can still work on top of it and add more color. So here it is, one, and more interesting results. Another interesting collage paper. Okay, I'm gonna clean this, just too much going on here. I can also take another, let's take, I've got, this is Deli paper, and I know not much will come out of it. It's just for the cleaning, but even the cleaning will get you more painty paper, and the more you put on it, the more interesting it would look. Here we go. Very subtle, but I don't care. Okay. Okay. So that was that. Let's do one or two pages from this dictionary. Okay, so let's do something else, just so you will know. I want to show you so many stuff that I don't know where to start and when to. Okay, I'm first, before I'm doing anything, I'm coloring this page. Okay, I'm going to start my heating tool, and then we'll do what I showed you. You can let it dry as is. You can work with the heat tool. I don't care if it moves the spray on the page, either way. And if I don't like, if I have a big puddle and I don't like it, I can always take a paper towel or a toilet paper, whatever, and just absorb it. Like if I don't like this puddle, I can do something like that and absorb most of it. Okay, so hi Sonia. The gel food coloring, most of the time when it's dry, then it's permanent. I don't, only sometimes, I don't know, they had some kind of reaction. I don't know why. Most of the time they didn't, there wasn't any reaction with other stuff, not with glue, not with varnish. So that's what I use most of the time, the gel food coloring sprays. Okay, mostly dry, enough for me to continue. Again, I'm putting this, no, I'm going to put this one here and then flip this on top. Now I'm using some dark blue, and let's take this. This is the black. I'm trying to spray a little bit from afar so it would give me more of a mist than puddles. Now I'm using this neon green just so I will have some variation in the color. I really don't care. I'm playing. Okay. And again, letting it absorb the spray. Here we go. Isn't it beautiful painty paper? And I can even take another page, doesn't really matter what. I still have a lot of going on here. I can also add if I want to. It's endless. Now I've taken one of the sketch papers. You see, I don't have a lot here, but it doesn't matter. I can go and spray more. I can take another pattern. I can lift more paint that I have here on the stencil and just play with it. Same as any kind of other monoprinting, you just have to play. Here we go. And here is another page. I don't have more room for papers to dry. all my floor is covered with pages that need drying. Okay, let's clean this. Of course, you can just take it to a sink and just let the water wash it. But that's what I do here when I don't want to each time get up and go and wash it. Okay, so that was that. A little bit of tea, and just so you will see about these placemats that I told you about. Okay. And I think I'll cut them in half just so it would be easier. Okay. So, as I said, you can work, if you want this pattern to pick through what the stencil, what you're doing, you can work on this, you can work on this. It's a lot similar to the deli paper, sandwich paper, or however you call it. And let's take this stencil and let's just spray it with something. You can already see the pattern through the paper, how it takes the spray almost instantly. Here we go. 1, 2. Collage paper, painty papers, whatever you want to call them. And just so you will see, working on the other side. I'm just alternating between the colors so it would be interesting, and not always the same colors, just here we go. It's also nice to have different combinations of color, and then I have lots of stuff to play with in terms of collage paper. So very easy, very simple. Okay, so we've done Deli paper and placemat, and yeah, I covered all the kinds of papers that I told you about. And now we are getting to the one that I covered with glue in my journal. And for those who missed it, what I've done is, this is sketch paper in my journal, and it absorbs paint quite quickly. It's thin, and I didn't want to put gesso on top of it because then it will make the spray just almost slide off, because it makes the paper almost a non-porous surface. So I decided to try, and I've put glue. I used my watered down glue, 2/3 white glue, 1/3 water, the one that I use for paper napkins, and I just went all over the page with the glue. I've done this just to experiment, and it worked. I've done this here, and that's the result. The glue made it possible for the page to absorb the spray, but not too much, so it looks more vibrant than if I haven't used the glue. That's the best explanation that I can give. So let's see, how am I going to do it? Haven't thought about it. Okay, I'm going to first make the spray it. That's the beginning, is what is in the back. So I'm going to again just put some colors. Same, already used this. I wanted red. So I've got some puddles, but it's still going to absorb into the page. And you can, if you like drip, you can let it drip. You just need to tilt your page, or you can just let it dry as is, or I can use the heat tool and make it move. I can also play with it, help it if I want to, or leave it be. All kinds of options. And even this, when it's dry, I can also stamp on it. I can do all kinds of stuff. Right now I want it to dry and then use another stencil to get this kind of result, so you can see it happening. But right now I'm just going to again move it. No, maybe let's help it along, or maybe okay, I'm going to move it aside, and I'm going to do the option with the distress inks before I forget to show you. So another print sketch paper. I haven't primed it with the glue, it's just as is. For that, for the demonstration, it's not that important. So with distress inks, you just go with them like this, Again, I'm putting it quite randomly. It really doesn't matter. Of course, if you want to do some kind of a pattern, you can do it. I'm right now just putting it as is, and now I need to activate it with water. It's better to have a spray bottle that gives you more of a mist and not something very direct. And also a little bit from afar. Maybe this one is more of a mist. Yeah. And now I'm just putting down this page. Just letting it do its thing. Here we go. So I had something on the page that I flipped over here, but doesn't matter. Just so you will see that you can work with distress inks if you don't want to use or make your own sprays. So that's another way to go about it. There is no more room. I'm drowning in paper. Just putting the distress inks in place. And let's take one of the papers that I had and use the leftover paint that I have. If you want, you can probably go over with the brayer on top so it will absorb everything. I'll just keep layering this page with leftover paint. Sometimes the cleaning up paper is the most beautiful of all the things that you try to do. Okay, so this is clean, and let's see. This is still wet. Let's help it. Just spreading the puddles so it would be quicker. If you're worried about your paper getting all these waves, you can just iron it. almost almost dry. Okay, so now let's take this one, or maybe let's take this one. I've done the other page with the sunflower. Let's do this one with this, I don't know, poppies, whatever. Now I'm going to spray this with darker colors, and let's see. Now the trick is, because this is in my journal, I need either to flip the journal on top of this, because if I'm spraying on here and trying to do this, it will spill. So that's the only thing that is a little bit tricky, but can be done. Or I can be careful with the amount of spray I'm putting on the stencil and then try to flip it. And just so we won't waste anything. Okay. Yeah, let's try this. Blue, blue, blue. Really trying to be careful and not to put too much. I already have a puddle here, so it's a risk. Maybe I'll try to flip it. We'll see. I'm just playing and mixing, and whatever will happen. Okay, so gonna try and just place it here, and let's hope it will work. I'm being patient, because if I manage to place it okay on what I have underneath, then I really want it to absorb the spray, and if I'm not patient, then it won't pick all that I want. But if it doesn't work, never mind, just another page. I can use it as any kind of painty paper. Okay, here it is. That's how it looks, and it would have been better if I didn't have all this journal that needs to be all this bulky journal to be accounted with. Okay, so this can be a background, this can be another painting paper for collage paper for anything else. I can take it out of the journal if I don't like it, and I can also work on top of it if I do like it. And I think I will just leave it be right now. Of course it needs to dry. Now I don't know if you saw, but when I lifted it, there was kind of a pull, because now the spray is interacting with the glue that I first put on the page. That's why it takes the spray, but it's still vibrant. It doesn't go all the way to the back of the paper. Only parts, like here, that's why it stays vibrant, and the glue did its work in creating some kind of interaction with the spray. So I'm going to let this dry so I can flip the page. Okay. So, hi Suzanne, and I hope I didn't miss anyone, and thank you all for coming in. So, I'm flipping here, and as I said, I can live with it as is, but I think this is a great start to a page, so I thought maybe I will just work a little bit on it, and so you can see how it's not only collage paper and can be an art journal page. I need to drink something. Okay, so let's see. I'm thinking first I will take just some felt pens, markers, whatever. These are plain from the cheap store. I think it was from the cheap store. No, I'm not sure. And if I want to make something more precise, I can go over and just make it more precise. That's just the beginning. Sometimes I like to leave some of the areas as is. I think it just, this grungy look is more interesting, so not everything will get a fixing here, just part of it. Like if I want this leaf to be more pronounced, more precise, then that's what I'm doing. Nothing is set in stone. You can do whatever you like, whatever you feel will work for you. Let's see, a little bit here, some fixing. I like it. Maybe just here. Again, it's not planned. I'm just working on it as I go. I decide where everything goes. I like it. Okay, so that's just some kind of a start. Let's see, I think I'll do something here. Don't like all this area. Okay. I like all these little details. Some, I don't know why this area just didn't work for me, so I covered it. Okay. I want to add something more to the background, some more interest. Let's see. Where did I put? Did I say I have too much stuff here? Okay, I'm just looking for my gold uniball signal. I left it here somewhere. Here we go. I want to add some details to the background. Just some swirlies. Don't know what to call them. All kinds. Very loose. Just so my background won't be all this just a green color. So adding some visual texture. Now it doesn't have to be with a marker. You can take stamps, Posca pens, make all kinds of marks. I want some clusters of this all over my background. I know it doesn't seem anything interesting right now, but I hope when I'm finished it would be interesting. Okay. I'm checking the chat to see if there is something new. Okay. I want to do next week mono printing or gel printing, and you don't have to have a gel plate. I will explain all the options that you have to use instead of a gel plate. So if you want to join me making some mono printing, you can do it. In terms of paper, same thing that I've used today, all kinds of papers. And for a gel plate printing or mono printing, mostly I use just thin paper. I don't do expensive paper for this. There are people that are an expert in mono printing and can do a whole painting just on a gel plate. I'm not one of them, and they are using probably watercolor paper or just very thick paper. So, but mono printing, I use just all the papers that you've seen me use today, and it's good enough for me because I use it as collage paper, painty paper, whatever you want to call it. Don't know how much of it you can see, all these swirly things I'm doing, but they are here, and I feel that it's adding, as I said, visual texture to my page, so I really like it. And I'm thinking of doing all kinds of marks on the page. I'm now taking, I've got gel pens, again from the cheap store. What kind of marks do I want to do? Decisions needs to be done. Some I don't know. You see, I'm going about it quite randomly and very fast, no overthinking, just adding something. And when I'm doing something like this, I do try to put it in 3 different places on the page. Our eyes look for a pattern, that something that repeats itself, and it goes very well when you're doing something like that in 3 places on your page, sometimes more, but at least 3, and random. I'm not much for symmetry, although there are cases that I've done it and it worked. Most of the time I do random and I like it. It looks more organic to me, at least. Yeah. I'm thinking of adding something else. Some of them don't work so well. Never mind. No, it's hardly noticeable, so I'll just leave it be. Do I want something more, or do I leave it? I don't know. I think I'll leave it as is. And of course I can work on this one. I've got too much here. And I think I can remove this. Ah, freedom! I'm free. I don't know if I'm up to another page, this one. Maybe I'll just make the elements more. Yeah, just so. These are just regular felt pen markers, just the tip is like a brush, but otherwise there is nothing special about them. So any kind of felt marker or felt pen, whatever, could have worked. And just so you know, because I have the glue underneath, I can take a brush, and while it's still wet, I can take a brush with a little bit of water and help the ink of the felt pen spread, and so it would be more faded away than it faded into the background. Or I can just leave it be, but I like it faded, so I won't have harsh lines. I want a harsh line that will define my focal point, but otherwise I want it fading into the background. If I didn't have the glue, this also would have absorbed immediately into the sketch paper, and I couldn't have done anything about it. It's really, I bought them mostly because they had the dual tip, that I had this fine point tip and the brush on the other end. Makes life easier. So you see it's already taking shape. Okay, that's it. I can't work with this towel anymore. Right now I'm continuing until I won't have any more it's getting late, so right now I'm still have enough what do I call it, when I'm starting to lose words and not finding the right words to to use, then I know I need to stop. Just changing because here I've got another color of spray that I used, so I'm going with something similar. Once again, I could have just left it as is, or I can work it like I'm doing now. It's something that you need to decide for yourself how much work you want to put in something like that. Okay, so this needs a lot of more work, which I don't have enough reserves to work on now. Battery is low. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Okay, so went over the chat. Finished my tea. I'm finished. Everything is finished. Someone needs to get some sleep. Okay, maybe I'll just collect all the papers just so you will see. Most of them are dry, so you can see what happened. Some are a little bit wet, still wet. Lots and lots of papers. Okay, here is another one. I'm picking up like picking up flowers. Okay, so this was just the cleanup page, which I already like. Here is another page. Here, just here are the very simple ones. This is still a little bit wet. On the coloring page, it's turned out a little bit faded. This is a little bit wet still. This is on the Deli paper. I just cleaned the stencil, but I really like how it is, even though it's really faded. But if I will glue it on top of something in my journal, this could be really nice. Here is another one, and here is the newspaper, again faded. Again, the thing is with this kind of paper, because they are thin, they absorb the paint quite immediately, and then when they are dry, they are faded. You need to work with, as you go, just experiment and see, but it needs to be more concentrated, or do like I've done here and put first some glue and then do it, because I really like what's going on here. I don't know how much of it you can see. I can probably still work on top of it and trying to use darker colors. I think it can be really nice. So that's it. That's all. Most of it. Oh, here is another one. Another paper that we've done. Yes, I think I went and picked up all the ones that I've done. Okay, so one more thing for let's see about, yes, next live next week, same day, same hour. And if you want to do some mono printing, gel printing, first of all, it needs to be on top of a non-porous surface. If you don't have a gel plate, it needs to be on some kind of non-porous surface. And the best things that I found that resemble a gel plate are there is two things that you can use. One is this silicone mat that is for baking, and again from the cheap store. You can use it on this side, you can use it on this side, whichever one you want. It can be worked on. On this side, some of this pattern will go through, and sometimes it's great. When we do it, I will show you next week. So that's something that you can work on. If you have more than one, it's even better. because then there is more give. That's part of the great thing in a gel plate. It's thick and there is some give. It's a so if you are using stencils or stamps, it's it's better when it's not completely stiff, hard, whatever. Another thing is you can always put something underneath the mat, like a towel. That's another option. You can put a towel on top of it. You can put the silicone mat and work like this. Again, as you go, you will find what works for you better. So that's one option if you have it, or if you can purchase it cheaply at a cheap store. That's one way to go about it. Another way, and each surface will give you a little bit of a different result. Even silicone mats I have from 2 different stores, and the consistency of the silicone is a little bit different, so the print is different. You can even do mono printing on this surface, just plain a hard surface. Another way to go about it is on craft foam. Craft foam has a little give. It's also, but the first prints don't come out great because first it absorbs the paint, the acrylic paint, and only on 2, 3, 4 print then it starts working again. You can also place it on a towel, so that's another thing that you can use to do mono printing. I've seen someone, I think, put craft foam inside a plastic page protector, but I didn't do it because I don't like how the print looks from when you work on the plastic. But if that's what you like, then go for it. Just take a page protector and insert the craft foam inside and work on top. Even page protectors have different consistency or a texture. I have got ones that have some kind of texture, so that's another way to go about it. So that's for next week. And as I said, all the pages, all the papers that we use today can be used for mono printing, and I'm going to use acrylics. There are all kinds of other stuff that can be used. I mostly do it with acrylics. I will probably use some stamps or maybe stencils, so you can take out some to play with. And it doesn't have to be stamps or stencils. Anything that can make a mark can be used to make interesting mono printing, painty papers, collage papers, whatever you want to call them. So that's that. Now on Monday there will be another video, not live, another video, and there is going to be a giveaway. I'm going to do this again, and so that would be something to look forward to. I'm starting to make all kinds of stuff for giveaways. I hope to do it regularly each Monday, and I hope to continue with the live streams each Thursday, Friday for Down Under. So that's it. Yeah, I think I covered everything. I hope I didn't forget something. Only the mess. That's what I'm forgetting. All the mess that I have here. Let's see if someone has a question. Mm-mm-mm. It's one, and yeah, I'm up because that's the best time that I thought I could do a live and that everyone can join in. Because I'm in the middle, the different time zones are a little bit difficult. So I picked here. I started at 11:30 p.m., which is um, now I'm confused. It's morning in down under, the next morning in down under, and it's afternoon in US, and UK is a little bit behind me, and Europe depending on the time zone, so but close to my hour. So I hoped to reach more people by doing it in this hour. Okay, yeah, England, 11 p.m. Yeah, okay, 2 hours behind me. Okay, so this is it for today. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being in the chat. That's what I really like about the live stream that I did never thought I would do. I'm not talking to myself. There's someone out there. And if you don't see it live because you don't like live, you can always catch it on my channel and leave me a comment down below. It would be great. And I'll be seeing you on Monday. So bye for now.